human in a suit. In the world of robotics, there is no greater insult. It is the ultimate accusation, the one that cuts deeper than any technical critique. It's not just saying your engineering is bad. It's saying you are a fraud, a liar, a circus act fooling a gullible public. And for the last 2 weeks, that exact insult, human in a suit, has been the #1 trending topic hurled at one company, Xpeng. Their iron robot demo was so fluid, so smooth, so human, that the internet simply refused to believe it. The forums, the comment sections, the subreddits, all of them screamed fake, CGI, spandex. But this story, this drama, isn't about Xpeng. Not really. To understand the weapon that Xpeng just unleashed, you have to understand the company that invented the insult, the company that 4 long years ago handed this perfect poison dagger to its competition. The company was Tesla. This is the story of the man in a suit insult, a story of a corporate humiliation so profound that it echoed for years, and how a rival just used that echo to create a Sputnik moment that has left Silicon Valley speechless. Let's rewind the clock. Go back to August 2021. The world is in a different place. The AI boom hasn't quite happened yet. We're on the cusp, but we don't know it. And Tesla is hosting its first ever AI day. The hype is astronomical. Elon Musk is on stage, the ultimate showman, promising the future. He's talking about Dojo, about full self-driving, and then he says it. He announces a new product, something no one expected, a humanoid robot, the Tesla bot, a machine he says that will one day do all the dangerous, repetitive, and boring tasks. The world holds its breath. What will it look like? Is this the iRobot moment? Will a real, walking, autonomous machine step out onto the stage? The lights dim. A spotlight hits center stage. A figure emerges. It's a person. A person in a tight white and black spandex suit with a blank black visor for a face. The music starts, a weird techno track, and the robot begins to dance. It's a jerky, bizarre, interpretive dance. It's a move so cringeworthy, so utterly baffling that the audience doesn't know what to do. They laugh nervously. The robot dances off stage. Elon Musk walks back out, a grin on his face, and has to immediately clarify. Obviously, that was not real. He laughs. Dojo is real. The Tesla bot will be real. But the damage was done. The reveal was a joke. It wasn't a product. It was a meme. In that single moment, the Tesla bot, later named Optimus, was born. It was not born in a lab. It was born in a costume shop. It was not a feat of engineering. It was a piece of performance art. And the world was brutal. Human in robot costume, actually good metaphor for how close Tesla is to AI, ran one headline. Tesla previews robot with human in spandex, ran another. In robotics, credibility is everything. And Tesla, in a single bizarre marketing stunt, had vaporized its own. Musk promised a real prototype sometime next year, but it didn't matter. The man in a suit was the only thing anyone remembered. For the next 4 years, from that day in 2021 to right now, this has been the shadow that has haunted Optimus. It didn't matter when Tesla showed the first real, clunky, untethered prototype. The comments were flooded. Where's the spandex? It didn't matter when Tesla showed Optimus walking autonomously in the factory. The comments were flooded. Cool, but can it dance like the original? It didn't matter when they showed Optimus sorting battery cells, a genuine feat of AI and dexterity. The comments were flooded. I'm still not convinced there isn't a tiny person inside. This was Tesla's original sin. A single 30-second joke that created a credibility gap so vast it has taken 4 years of relentless, genius-level engineering just to crawl out of it. Every time Optimus got better, faster, or smarter, it was doing so under a cloud of suspicion. The suspicion that its own CEO had created. Tesla had given its rivals the perfect weapon. They had given them a joke, and in the tech world, being a joke is worse than being wrong. While Tesla was fighting to prove its robot was real, its competitors were in the lab, quietly working. They watched Tesla take all the arrows, they watched Tesla become the butt of the joke, and they learned. They learned that you don't promise what you can't show, and when you do show something, it had better be so undeniably real, so technically profound that it ends the conversation. And that brings us to November 5th, 2025, Xpeng's AI Day, a company that for years has been derided as a Tesla copycat, a company that was also in the shadow. And as their iron robot walked onto the stage with a catwalk swagger and a flexible spine, the internet exploded. The exact same accusation was leveled, human in a suit. It was the same insult, the same skepticism, the same mockery that Tesla had faced for 4 solid years. And what Xpeng did next wasn't just a response, it wasn't just a denial. It was a vicious swipe. It was the most brutal, calculated, and perfectly executed clapback in the history of the tech industry. And it was aimed at one company and one company only. The internet was on fire. The human-in-a-suit accusations were everywhere. The very same mockery that had plagued Tesla for 4 years was now being aimed, with full force, at its new Chinese rival. And for a few hours, the world waited. How would Xpeng respond? Would they do what Tesla did? Would they laugh it off? Would they post a high-tech render and promise a real one next year? Would they just stay silent and let the doubt fester? No, they would not. What happened over the next 48 hours was not a press release. It was a corporate execution, a cold, calculated, and vicious demonstration of proof designed to do 2 things: end the skepticism and permanently humiliate their rival. The response came in 2 parts. Part 1 was a warning shot. It came less than 24 hours after the demo. Xpeng CEO Xpeng, a man who later admitted the accusations cost him a night of sleep, posted a raw, unedited, one-take video to social media. There was no stage, no fancy lighting. It was just him, an engineer, and the iron robot, standing in a lab. The CEO read a few of the man-in-a-suit comments out loud. He smiled, and then he turned to the robot. He walked behind the machine, which was wearing the same dress from the demo, and he grabbed a zipper on the back. With one pull, he unzipped the dress from the neck down, revealing what was underneath. It wasn't a human spine. It was a carbon fiber chassis. It wasn't spandex. It was a silver, woven mesh synthetic skin, and through it you could see the blue and red glow of internal wiring and the metallic sheen of actuators. He then had the engineer remove the clothing from the robot's arm, pulling it back to reveal a slender, impossibly complex mechanical hand. As you can see, the CEO said, this hand is too small for any human to be inside. This was the polite response. This was the "see, you were wrong" response. But the internet is the internet. It wasn't enough. The new conspiracy theories formed instantly. The zipper wasn't unzipped all the way. He's hiding the human's lower back. That's a different robot from the one on stage. The walk robot was the fake. Xpeng had given the internet proof. The internet spat it back in their face. And so Xpeng decided to end it. They decided to answer the insult not with words, but with a last resort, as they called it. A last resort that would be broadcast live to the world. Part 2 of the response, the vicious swipe. The next day, Xpeng held a surprise pop-up press event. They invited tech media, robotics experts, and most importantly, their biggest online critics. The Iron Robot, the exact one from the demo, was on stage. It did the catwalk, it swayed its hips, it waved to the crowd, and then it stopped. And the CEO, Xpeng, walked on stage. He was not smiling. He said, "There are still questions. We have been told our response was not enough. Their remarks are painful to our engineers who have spent 7 years on this project, so we will provide the final proof." He nodded to an engineer. The engineer walked on stage, holding not a microphone, not a spec sheet, but a pair of industrial-strength scissors. And in front of 1,000 cameras, live streaming to millions, the engineer knelt down and began to cut the robot's leg open. They didn't unzip it. They didn't unscrew a panel. They cut it. The scissors sliced through the outer clothing. Then it pierced the synthetic skin, a layer of soft, flesh-like polymer, and then it cut through the layer of bionic muscle, a red fibrous material that mimics human tissue. They pulled the layers back one by one, and underneath, there was no human shin. There was no boot. There was a polished titanium alloy pylon. There were hydraulic pistons. There were bundles of micro actuators and rainbow-colored sensor wires all converging on a complex, articulated ankle joint. They had, quite literally, performed a live on-stage vivisection. It was the most brutal, definitive, and unbelievably arrogant mic drop in the history of engineering. In one 5-minute demonstration, Xpeng had not only proven their robot was real, they had weaponized the very insult Tesla had created. And this is where the swipe becomes a kill. Because by proving it wasn't a man in a suit, Xpeng forced the world to ask a much more terrifying question. How did they do it? And the answer is a technical nightmare for Tesla. Let's go back to Tesla's 2021 demo. Why did they use a man in a suit? Because they had no hardware. They had an idea, a promise. They had nothing to show. Xpeng just proved they have the most advanced humanoid hardware on the planet. Let's do the tail of the tape. The human-like walk that everyone thought was fake. It comes from a humanoid spine, a flexible, articulated, multi-segment spine just like yours. It allows the robot to twist, to sway, to counterbalance its upper body against its lower body. Tesla's Optimus is a rigid torso, a solid block. It balances from the hips like a toy soldier. It's a robot programmed to walk. Xpeng's Iron is a machine mechanically designed to walk. The degrees of freedom, the number of joints. Tesla's Optimus, based on its latest estimates from its 2024 demos, has around 40 degrees of freedom. Impressive. Xpeng's Iron has 82. 82 degrees of freedom. That is, in all likelihood, double the agility, double the articulation, and double the potential for complex human-like motion. The hands. This is where it gets brutal. Tesla's Optimus hands are great, 22 degrees of freedom. Xpeng's Iron hands, also 22 degrees of freedom. It's a tie, right? No. Xpeng's hands are 1-to-1 the size of a human's. They are slender, delicate. Tesla's are still robot hands, big, bulky, powerful, but Xpeng, by using the industry's smallest harmonic joints, built hands that aren't just like a human's, they are the same size. And the final insult, the one that no one even knew about until they cut the robot open. The power source. Optimus runs on a standard Tesla-made lithium-ion battery. Powerful, heavy, a fire risk. Xpeng's Iron Robot does not. When they peeled back the layers of that leg, the reporters saw it. Iron is powered by the industry's first ever all-solid-state battery to be put in a humanoid, a holy grail technology that Silicon Valley has been promising for 10 years. Lighter, safer, more energy dense. Xpeng didn't just build a better robot. They built it out of better stuff. This is the vicious swipe. Xpeng took the man-in-a-suit insult and turned it into a mirror. They forced Tesla and the entire world to look at the 2021 spandex dancer and then look at a robot being cut open, revealing technology that is 5 years ahead of schedule. The insult was, "You're a fake." The response was, "We're not a fake. You are just, well, obsolete." Xpeng's onstage vivisection did more than just prove their robot was real. It was a direct, philosophical attack on the most powerful man in the field. Because this entire story, the spandex suit, the dance, the years of mockery, and the brutal clapback, it all exposes the single greatest difference between Elon Musk and the rest of the world. It exposes his one giant world-changing idea. To understand what Xpeng just attacked, you have to understand Elon Musk's entire philosophy. Musk is not trying to build a robot. He is trying to build a new economy. Listen to what he has said just in the last few months. At the 2025 shareholder meeting, he didn't just talk about a product, he talked about eliminating poverty. He talked about creating a universal high income. He said working will be optional. He is not trying to build a machine to help you in your home. He is trying to build the replacement for all human labor. He has repeatedly stated that Optimus will be the biggest product of all time, bigger than cell phones, bigger than anything. He isn't planning to build a few thousand. He is planning a 1 million unit per year production line in Fremont and a 10 million unit per year line in Texas. And this is the most important part, his price target. He is building Optimus to cost $20,000. This is the Tesla Model T strategy. It is not about building the best robot. It is about building a cheap enough robot, a good enough worker stamped out on an assembly line by the tens of millions. This is Musk's core belief. The robot's body is not the hard part. The AI is the hard part. He believes that Tesla's full self-driving neural net, the real-world AI trained by millions of cars, can just be ported into a humanoid shell. He believes the real challenge is manufacturing, not mechanics. His entire strategy is AI first, hardware second. And that is why he used a man in a suit in 2021. Think about it. It wasn't a mistake. It wasn't a gaffe. It was a philosophy. The man in the suit was the perfect symbol for his entire approach. It was a visualization of his vision. It was a human running Tesla's AI. In 2021, the hardware was irrelevant to him. The hardware was a to-be-solved problem. The idea was the AI. The idea was the brain. The spandex suit was just a placeholder, a meat space avatar for the software he was promising. For 4 years, he has been selling a vision. His demos, even the real ones, have been theater, as even his own engineers have admitted. The dancing, the laundry folding, all of it was carefully controlled showmanship designed to sell investors on the future. He was selling the brain. He was telling the world, don't worry about the body. The body is easy. We're the AI kings. We are the manufacturing kings. We will solve the body problem when the brain is ready. And for 4 years, the world kind of believed him. The world was playing his game. We were all just waiting for Elon to solve the hardware. And then Xpeng walked on stage. Xpeng just played a completely different game. With that one 60-second demo and that one 5-minute live dissection, Xpeng just invalidated Elon Musk's entire philosophy. The Iron Robot is a vicious 82 degrees of freedom, solid-state battery-powered insult because it is hardware first. Xpeng did not sell a vision, they did not promise a future, they did not show a brain. They cut a body open. They proved that while Elon Musk was busy building a 10 million unit production line for a $20,000 worker, they were busy perfecting a $200,000 machine. Xpeng's message was not, "Look at our AI." Their message was, "The body, the hardware is everything." It is not an easy problem. It is the hardest problem, and we solved it first. They showed a flexible spine. Tesla has a rigid torso. They showed 82 degrees of freedom. Tesla has 40. They showed a one-to-one human hands. Tesla has bulky robot hands. They showed a next-generation solid-state battery. Tesla is still using lithium-ion. This is the ultimate humiliation. It's not that Xpeng's robot is better, it's that it exists at all. It proves that while Tesla was focused on cost, Xpeng was focused on capability. And this brings us to the most terrifying part of the insult. Elon Musk knew this was coming. He knew. Just a few months ago, in August, he was asked about AI competition. And he didn't say Google, he didn't say Meta. He said, and I quote, "Companies in China will be the toughest competitors because they have so much more electricity and are super strong at building hardware." Elon Musk, the man who built his empire on manufacturing, knew his greatest weakness. He knew that someone somewhere in China was super strong at building hardware and was coming for him. He knew that while he was focused on the brain, his rival was perfecting the body. The man in the suit was Tesla's promise of a future AI. The Iron Robot is Xpeng's proof of present-day hardware. And in this new, brutal robot war, you can't have one without the other. Xpeng just took the very insult Tesla created and turned it into a declaration of war. The original insult was, "Tesla's robot is a fake." The new vicious swipe is, "No, Tesla's philosophy is the fake." So here we are. The dust is settled. The robot has been cut open. The insult has been answered. And the entire landscape of robotics has been fractured in two. This was never really about a man in a suit. That was just the opening shot. This was about a 4-year-old humiliation and a 4-year-long revenge arc. In 2021, Tesla gave the world a man in a suit. It was a joke, a meme, but it was also a promise. It was the physical representation of Elon Musk's grand vision. AI first, hardware second. He was selling the brain. For 4 years, he has been building in public, showing his work, iterating. Optimus has gone from a clumsy, tethered machine to a fluid, factory-working, laundry-folding dancing robot. Every new video was another step away from that original spandex suit humiliation. Musk was slowly, painfully proving his vision. He was proving that the AI-first approach could work, that you could start with a vision and build the hardware to catch up. He was on the verge of finally burying the man in a suit insult for good. And then, at the very moment of his triumph, Xpeng delivered the killing blow. They didn't just refute the man in a suit insult, they embraced it. They waited for the entire world to accuse them of the same exact fraud. And then, instead of a press release, instead of a tweet, they took out a pair of scissors. That live, on-stage vivisection was more than just proof. It was a message. It was a vicious swipe directly at Elon Musk's entire philosophy. Xpeng's message was clear. We are not you. You started with a costume. We started with a solid-state battery. You started with a dancer. We started with a flexible spine. You sold the world a promise of a brain. We are showing the world a reality of a body. Xpeng just proved in the most dramatic way possible that hardware is not the easy part. It is the hardest part. They proved that while Tesla was busy building an AI, they were busy building a next-generation machine. An 82 degrees of freedom, one-to-one human-handed, solid-state powered body that is now just waiting for a brain. And this This is the trillion-dollar terror for Tesla. What happens now? We're no longer in a one-man race. This is a two-front war fought on two completely different philosophies. On one side, you have Tesla, the AI-first, manufacturing-first, $20,000 worker strategy. Elon Musk is betting that his brain is so good it can make a good enough body do incredible things. He's betting on scale. On the other side, you have Xpeng, the AI-first, capability-first, $200,000 companion strategy. They are betting that their body is so advanced it creates an entirely new market. They are betting on performance. This is Ford versus Ferrari. This is Windows versus Apple. This is a battle for the soul of robotics. Is a robot a tool, or is it a companion? Is the brain more important, or is the body? 4 years ago, Tesla mocked the world with a man in a suit because they believed the suit didn't matter. Xpeng just cut that suit open and showed that it was the only thing that did. The original insult is dead, but it has been replaced by a much more profound and a much more unsettling reality. The man in a suit is no longer a joke. It is a warning. It is a warning to Tesla that while they were looking at the stars, a competitor on the ground was building a better rocket. It is a warning to Silicon Valley that their comfortable, assumed lead in hardware is over. And it is a warning to all of us that the robot war isn't coming. It's here. And it's being fought not with software, but with titanium, solid-state batteries, and a flexible spine. The original insult has come full circle, and it has just started a fire that will change our world forever.